What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. Today's video, taking a look at some Great League remake sauce that I didn't think was going to work as well as it did, mostly because this is not a team that I would normally run, and we're going to be running Shadow Dragonite on the lead, and we're actually going to be putting it behind a double steel line here with having a Forretress safe swap, which is the thing that I was trying to build the team around in the first place, because I was trying to think of things that would beat the Furret Tinkaton core, and Forretress is probably one of the more versatile things that can beat that core. One of the other things that we have on this team that can beat that core is Alolan Sandslash, and I'm choosing to run a non-Shadow variant for just bulk reasons. We already have a Shadow Dragonite on the lead, so I like to have a little bit more bulk where I can get it. This team did really well, went on an 8-2 rip before I started getting hard countered into oblivion, which is not the team's fault. That is just how my luck has been lately. So let me know in the comments what you think of the team. Let's get into the battles here, getting into the first game here. We're going to have Dragonite on the lead versus... I forgot this was the first game. Oh, yeah. I mean... we just hope that Alolan Sandslash goes off in the back. What are the chances that it's double fire, though, right? So, Alolan Ninetales on the lead. We're hard countered. I'm never giving up any shields here unless I can somehow maybe, you know, get a farm down on this Typhlosion. I'm going to let the first move go. Whether they go for Thunder Punch or Blast Burn doesn't matter to me. It's Thunder Punch. It's going to be a neutral move. I'm just going to go ahead and shield. Let Dragonite try and get the farm down. What I should have done here, though, was get this farm down. Now we get the farm down. I'm going to try. I was thinking about, do I want to go for the superpower? And I'm going to save it for later. Opponent brings out Greninja, and Alolan Sandslash just has an incredibly bad matchup, so I'm going to go ahead and just let him have it. You have that team against mine, you can have it. But things are picking up in the next game. We get a Mud Slapper in the lead in Claydol. Opponent safe swaps into a Shadow Pidgeot. We have the Sandslash ready and waiting, and I'm going to leave Forretress in the back waiting for whatever's next, because Alolan Sandslash is not as flexible as Forretress, because Forretress has the rock ground coverage and its charge moves that actually allows it to have a better, more flexible sort of matchups, I guess, against the broader meta. It's just more flexible than Alolan Sandslash, even though they both have incredibly good energy. I'm going to go ahead and no-shield these moves. I did shield the first just in case it was a Brave Bird. I needed to maintain switch advantage because Forretress has an absolutely miserable time into Claydol. So I have enough energy here. I can go ahead and go for the double Ice Punch. I did not throw an Ice Powder Snow this time because I wasn't sure if I was going to live that Mud Slap. Turns out I would have, but I didn't want to take the chance. Dragonite's going to come in now and is going to be forced to take this Rock Tomb, and I'm going to leave everything up to Forretress without these shields. I'm hoping that Dragonite can still do well enough into the back line. An opponent has a Noctowl. Oh, I commend this trainer for the spice here, bringing back Noctowl. Wow, man, when this Pokemon was cool, that was something else. But Noctowl, unfortunately, is not going to be able to handle itself well anymore, as the wing attack nerf made it so that its pacing is just not good enough to be able to hang with this meta. We are going to be able to get a farm down here. Opponent's not even going to be able to get to the move, and we're going to be able to launch a Earthquake here into this Claydol and take this next game. Well played to the opponent. We had the double steal for the double flying backline. And Double Steel did a lot better than I expected. I did get hit with with quite a few, you know, ground teams, fire teams, and yes, those are pretty much instant losses. But the variety of teams in the Great League Remix is very hard to predict because of the fact that the top meta of the main Great League meta is gone. There are a lot more different things that you're going to see. I haven't seen half of these Pokemon in months, man. And I think that's a good thing. It's a fun meta, for sure. But at the same time, it's also kind of an rock, paper, scissors-y sort of meta that's a little bit alignment dependent unless you're able to find your way around some stuff that works. Like, there's a ton of Ghost, double fighting double Ghost, so that's why Pidgeot's been popular. That's kind of why I went Dragonite here, especially because it works really well with the Steel types. Now, opponent comes in with a Sandslash, and I'm just going to Hail Mary the superpower. I should have just come straight in with Forretress, but we're going to go and get a shield here at the very least, but the opponent thinks that's oh, they thought it was just a simple little Dragon Claw. No, we don't bait here in Felrose household. Good game. Next game, we are going to have Dusknoir in the lead. I don't really know how I feel about this. However, I typically expect her to be double fighting in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and swap straight into my Forretress here and look to try to maybe pull out something in the back for Dragonite to get some farm. I don't want to stick around to tank these Astonishes at all. Opponent's going to come in with a Primeape, which is, I mean, that's what I was expecting. It's a ghost double fighting. They're everywhere. But Earthquake is going to land. The opponent does not respect the damage, and that's actually going to allow me to flip switch advantage if I want to. But do I want to? I think I'm going to go for it because the opponent's going to go for the close combat. The Rage Fist would not have been enough. And now I'm down 2 shields, but I'm going to try to make something happen here. Dusknoir is very glassy. Going to have to shield a potential hard-hitting move here. Rock Tomb does get the shield, and the opponent is going to go down a shield. They're going to end up going down 2 shields as the second Rock Tomb comes out. And I'm going to be looking to hopefully make something happen. I'm expecting that they're going to end up having a... fighter in the back, but they actually have a Toxapex, so this is fantastic. Excuse me. I'm going to farm up a bunch of energy. I know that I can get to a move before the Toxapex does, and I'm swapping in my Sandslash, and I've seen enough Toxapex recently to say that this, like, being able to lock this down is just instantly game-winning and for the most part. The opponent having that answer to... I'm trying to think of what this... I mean, I guess it's for Pangoro? I guess, maybe? I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the Toxapex is covering on the Dusknoir unless they're just trying to run something like a, you know, RPS backline. I don't know. But either way, we're going to be able to take it. Like, the teams don't always make sense. I guess that's the point, right? The teams don't always make sense. But they go for the Dynamic Punch. That's going to KO at least 17 Alolan Sandslashes. But we have the Dragon Claw ready to go. Dragonite winning CMP over the Dusknoir as well. Taking that game, well played to the opponent. It's a good team in that Toxapex is just good when it's lined up on something, and that's, I mean, I've seen enough double fairies. That's hopefully, you know, kind of what they're thinking here. Now, my thought process here when I see it in the lead is I'm going to go ahead and farm up to a move, and I'm going to bring in my Forretress, and either they stay in and throw a Brine that does very little damage and waste their energy, or they bring in whatever's in the back, and it happens to be a Greninja here, and Greninja is going to get me to shield for the first one because I am planning to go for Rock Tomb. I don't want to go for 2 and then the move with 2 Volt Switches into these into these Water Shurikens, which would be the proper timing, technically, but I'm okay to go for 1 Volt Switch because at least it makes it so I can get my move on. But the opponent goes for a Night Slash here, maybe trying to get a boost, trying to get their attack back up here. But it's not going to be any help to them, as unfortunately, they don't get the boost, and I'm just going to be able to let this next move go. I'm not going to assume that I need switch advantage here, but the opponent goes for another Night Slash, and I'm going to be able to almost get this farm down, and it's now I have a question. I'm just going to go for switch. Like, if I now have the opportunity to line up my Sandslash against their Toxapex, I am taking it 100%. Opponent, however, was only 1 away from the move. Brine is going to be enough to knock out here. So unfortunately, I'm not able to get my Earthquake off. But again, we get alignment here, and whatever's in the back is probably not going to appreciate the Dragonite. The opponent recognizes this and concedes. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Popping off here, by the way, with a 4-1 set, even though, like, every team I run, the first game always seems to be the hardest of hard counters, and then we come into some regular gameplay. We ended up going on a Bombardier here. An opponent and I immediately switch, and the opponent has a Nidoqueen in the back, so I'm going to assume that they have double poison. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shield the first move. They're not likely to go for a Poison Fang bait here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go for this Earthquake once I get up to as much energy as I can hold. And I know that 1 Earthquake will pretty much KO this thing. It is Earthquake. It's a Shadow Nidoqueen. It's not particularly bulky. But the thing that I have to hope here is that, do I live this Earth Power? If I do, I'm fine. If I don't, I'm in shambles. But we do live the Earth Power. We're not going to be getting taken out here. No, sir. Opponent's going to have to put both shields down to win switch, which, I mean, they probably could have. And that would have been a bad thing. Now, opponent's going to get a perfect farm down here on the Nidorina. So they have the Nidorino, or the Nidorina Nidoqueen backline, which I respect it. But now I know I can just bring in my Dragonite here, eat whatever energy they have on the Nidorina, and I can simply just let my Alolan Sandslash finish this game off here. Because Bombardier, even though it is a dark, fast move, it still takes super effective damage from Ice Punch, and this energy that we're going to get here is going to allow us to outpace the Bombardier. I'm just hoping that at some point they swap in the Bombardier, and if they don't, I'm going to try to throw a move. Now, the opponent has Dig on the Nidorina, so that was uncomfortable, but I do know that no matter what move they had, it was never going to be able to KO, and the opponent not shielding this is huge. We're going to get a perfect farm down here, and had they gotten maybe 1 more Sucker Punch in, that would have been a really uncomfortable health range, but we're going to be able to cleanly get to 2 drill runs. The opponent knows it, and they're going to go ahead and resign the game. Well played. I don't remember. I think this was like a 7 or 8 game win streak that we were on. Pangoro in the lead. Love to see it. We're going to be winning this lead. The opponent's going to stay in, though, because they do not like this Dragonite, and they're going to take a lot of fast move damage trying to get up to that close combat. I'm going to let this go. It's either a Night Slash or resist close combat. Both will do a lot of damage, but I'm not particularly worried about it at this point. I'm going to go for my Dragon Claw here, looking to get the KO or a shield. The opponent goes ahead and lets it go, and in comes Bastiodon, and I'm just like, what degenerate team is, like, what is this? Pangoro lead, Basti in the back. Have we never heard of a fighting type or like anything that, oh my goodness, this is just, these kinds of teams are just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Y'all can let me know in the comments if like there's a reason for this, but unfortunately, I kind of have to throw on bad timing here, or I end up having to go over 100 energy. So this is kind of uncomfortable, but I need to keep my Forretress alive. My hope is that they let this go, and whatever is in the back, I can Rock Tomb it a couple of times before going down. The opponent has the Primeape, and I feel like at this point, probably should have just gone for the Earthquake. Rock Tomb is going to be an obvious thing here. The opponent, however, is also going to be able to just ramp up energy however they please. I'm hoping to catch a move on my Alolan Sandslash, but the opponent keeps going. They're farming up so much energy here, but they're letting themselves get very low on HP. Close combat's going to one-shot my Alolan Sandslash, the poor thing. But the opponent lets us get to the Rock Tomb. This is going to set us up for a potential win condition by getting this move off. And, well, not in the move, doesn't really matter, but getting this Volt Switch in, this is going to put them down in 1 Dragon Breath range. If this game works correctly, we take the win. Let me explain it before we move on, because I tend to just move into one of the next. But, and also, if you're here this long into the video, thank you for watching. I appreciate that. 1 Dragon Breath should register on the same turn the opponent taps that charge move. So if there's no 1-turn delay, that Dragon Breath should go through and register at the same time that they tap that charge move. So I should be able to get the Dragon Breath damage through if the game is working correctly instead of them getting the charge move in. So that's why we were able to get that win condition. So well played to the opponent. Dragonite versus Chargebug. This is a neutral lead on both parties here. I'm going to try to make a sick little catch on my Forretress here. Still getting the Volt Switches through, and the opponent is staying in here to try to get some damage, and I imagine this was a bit of a... I wasn't really sure how to deal with this lead, I'm going to be honest. And I also now find out that Chargebug wins CMP over Forretress, which is something that I was not expecting to have happen. Discharge is not going to get through here. I'm going to shield it. I'm going to go for this Rock Tomb. If the opponent's staying in this long, then I'm fine, because now that means that this Chargebug is not going to be aligned to whatever they want it to be aligned to in the back, and I can go for a second Rock Tomb if they're going to overfarm here, which is perfectly fine. We get both shields now, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, do I let this go or do I try and win switch? Now, opponent goes for a discharge, not even going to be close to enough after those debuffs, but this Rock Tomb will, and the opponent has put both shields down on the Chargebug, and so at this point, my thinking in this game is opponent has put both shields down, they must have an answer to Dragonite in the back, and they want switch advantage, and so I'm putting both my shields down in order to accomplish that. Now, I'm going to go for this Rock Tomb. This is going to get rid of the Chargebug. We have a bunch of energy on the Dragonite from when we farmed up earlier, and Alolan Sandslash, if we can just get some favorable alignment, which it looks like we can. Alolan Sandslash can come in on this Drifblim. I doubt they're running Mystical Fire. They almost never do. But we're going to be able to go for this Ice Punch. But the opponent gets to the move first. They're going to be going for likely a Shadow Ball. This is a Hex Drifblim, and I have to be careful. Now they're going to come in with a Pelipper. And now I realize it was just because they didn't have an answer in the back to the Forretress, and they were in shambles. So I am going to go for this Ice Punch. I'm going to swap out, and I overfarm by too much by accident. I forget the counts to Weather Ball. I think it's straight 5. I overfarm by too much. So now what I'm going to look to do is try to overfarm as much as I can to get close to a second move, but also get a Dragon Claw in before the opponent can farm us down, but also give them as little farm as possible on the Drifblim. They, I believe, should be at enough for 3 more, and then they're going to get to their move. But since we left with 1 residual move, we're going to be able to get to the Ice Punch. Thankfully, no lag is plaguing us this game, and we're going to be able to get there just in time to take out the opponent's Drifblim. Good game. Now, again, if there wasn't any lag, that 5th Powder Snow would have knocked out anyway. But again, don't want to take the risk, just going to go for the move. We're going to have Forretress come in, and the opponent's got Galarian Moltres on the lead, and they're going to swap into a Skeleturge to answer our Forretress. Now, this is, yeah, this isn't good. Rock Tomb is going to get the shield from the opponent, though, and now I'm going to come in with my Dragonite and hope that I can just maybe tank this next move. Maybe they're going to go for... They have to full send Shadow Ball, right? So they shielded once. I'm going to shield as well. I had considered perhaps not, but then the game just decides it wants to stop, and now I'll never know if I had a chance to win that game or not. I don't know what this trainer had in the back. I know he came in my chat. We played these on live stream. He came into my chat afterwards and just said, dude, the game froze on us both, so... There's no shenanigans, but the game, this game is just broken, man. What are we doing here? What are we really doing here? Trying to enjoy a game that doesn't even work. Anyway, looking for some redemption after my win streak was terribly snapped, and we see a familiar lead here with Toxapex in the next game. I'm going to go ahead and farm up some energy just like I did in the last game. What I like to do is if I find that a certain strategy works, I'm going to continue to do it until for some reason it stops working. An opponent has a similar team to the last one. This is not the same trainer, I know it's not. But Greninja here coming in, we're going to play this exactly the same as we did the last one. We're going to be going for Rock Tombs with Forretress. We're going to be looking to try to maintain Switcher. The opponent just lets the Rock Tomb through, and that gives us Switch advantage, and then some. Opponent now comes in with a Digger Speed, and I'm just like, no! Dragonite's going to do really well here, but they're going to be able to do a lot of energy gains as much as they want here. They can basically just go for as much energy as they please and then take me out with a Fire Punch. I'm just going to go ahead and let the Fire Punch through. I have no reason to shield here. I don't want an Earthquake that badly, but we're also going to end up being left with very little HP. Don't know if that's how much the Fire Punch just does or if that was an undercharge. And if it was an undercharge, very nice play by the opponent. But I haven't played that matchup out enough to know. But we're going to come straight back in with Dragonite. And due to that energy we had on hand earlier, I can go for the Dragon Claw, take him out. And then we have Sand Slash against the Toxapex. And that by itself is going to win the game here. Fortunately for us, that's just all we needed here. So we're going to be able to take this one. Opponent is going to be looking to play it out for a little bit, though. I'm just going to farm up energy. I don't have to shield anything, at least for the first two moves. I just need to get to 3 drill runs, essentially, to win this game. And I even have my Dragonite in the back, which can absolutely get us to a move. I'm going for 2 drill runs and saving the shield now for Dragonite at this point. And the opponent's going to go ahead and have to shield another one, or they're going to lose the game here. Either way, I think after this, I'm pivoting into my Dragonite, and we're just going to look to go for a Dragon Claw here to finish the game out. Well played to the opponent there, and they're going to go ahead and resign the match. I think they just quit as we got to that move. Would have been, you know, would have been fine either way. But good game to the opponent here. Very well played. And that, I believe, is another 4-1 set in the books. This team absolutely ripped the Remix Cup for me for a couple sets here. And again, this was like, I saw a specific side of the meta triangle, and then as soon as I hit these 2 4-1s, all of a sudden now it's double fire, double ground, double whatever is going to beat this. So take it with a grain of salt, as is anything in this game. There's so much alignment dependency if you are playing teams like this. You know, but this is certainly a team that did well for me, so I wanted to share it. Let me know in the comments what you've been running in the Remix Cup, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.